My name is Saba Getty, and I'm from the Bradford Association for Zimbabweans, and I'm from Zimbabwe. And I've lived in Bradford for about 5 years. And for those who know Zimbabwe, we've lived under apartheid. I know they talk about South Africa a lot. And living in a post-apartheid state, there was a lot of racism, there was tribalism, and it was harmful. I was a young person then, and I used to experience a lot of racism every day at school, and it was difficult for me to even communicate to my parents what I was going through. So with the wave of racism cases that are rising in Bradford, I can only imagine the children and what they are going through in schools, in the community. They may fail to communicate this to their parents. And I urge all parents here to have that communication with your children. Talk about racism. What is racism? Now, many racists, they don't know that they're racist. Many racists, they don't know that they're racist. So today, I'm gonna teach you what racism is so that you don't end up falling prey to becoming one without knowing. Because racism is taught. We are not born racist. We are not born bigots. We are not born with a sense to choose between colors. We are born colorblind. This means that racism is taught. Where is it taught? It's taught at home. By who? First, by our parents. In the home. First, by our parents and the guardians who look after us. When we go to the playground and we tell our children, do not play with that child. Do not play with that child. You say that 5, 6, 7 times and that child is black or is brown. Your child is going to learn to hate the black and the brown skin. That's how we learn racism. Now, racism is a system of taking advantage based on race. Now I'm talking about white privilege, if you have heard of it. Remaining silent while you are in a position of privilege is contributing to racism. Racism has been incubated in the UK. It didn't start today. We only see today because these are the fruits and the flowers that are only blooming. We have seen racism in the newspapers, on tabloids, on front page, where we stereotype certain social particular groups within our community. And when you do that for a long, long time, those seeds, they begin to grow. And today, what we see is a fruition of the racism seeds we have planted in our newspapers for years. Today we see xenophobia. Today we see Afrophobia. I want you to write these terms down and go learn about them. Today we see Islamophobia. Today we see homophobia. These are seeds of hate that have been planted in our newspapers every day. We hear politicians saying some of these words that reinforce the stereotypes that sometimes, if we are not clever, we end up becoming racist when ideally, surely we weren't born racist. We are not bigots, we were never born bigots. So today, I want us to end racism. You can actively end racism and friend all your friends who say racist things. Be open on your social media about racism and unfriend anybody who is racist. Speak out. Even if you are in a position of privilege, speak out against racism. We come from a society where racism divided us. If you go to South Africa or Southern Africa today, my country included, we were taught that people belong to 5 groups. What are these 5 groups? There is white, meaning anybody who looks white. And then there is black, anybody who's African. And then there was Indian, anybody who is Indian, Yemen, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. You were all called Indians. This is how they taught us. And then there was the 4th group, Chinese. So anybody from the Far East was Chinese. And that's how they taught us. And that's how they created the societies. When you go to South Africa today, even Zimbabwe, post-apartheid, you still see communities still living in those groups that they taught us. So I don't want that for Bradford. And maybe this is why I am passionate about it, because I've lived it before. We are responsible for the future generation to grow up in a racism-free society. It's up to you and me to end it in our generation. Every generation, our responsibility, be it racism, be it anything that harms mankind as a whole, it is up to our generation to sieve out the bad so that it doesn't trickle to the next generation. And that's how you achieve peace, and that's how you achieve community development, and that's how you achieve a humanity that we all want to live in. And that's how we flourish as mankind. Thank you very much.
Huge round of applause.